I'm going to be the first one to say that I don't know nothing about what the Atlanta Falcons organization is doing with this football team. And I think we need to have an honest discussion about that. Nobody knows, none of these content creators, and there's no disrespect to them. None of these people on Twitter, it is no disrespect to them either. None of these people in other social media spaces or people that are in the barbershop, most 99.99999% do not know what this organization is doing. Let's just be honest. Today we're going to talk about a real conversation about this particular topic because everybody in one way or another have some type of feelings about Lamar Jackson, the front office decision making of who they draft or pick up or who they sign or who they don't sign. And we also have other situations where there are people just don't like what this team has done in the past 15, 20 years. And I'm with you. I don't like some of the stuff either. I'm not going to sit here and play like I'm a homer for this team. I'm not going to sit here and play like I don't see the craziness that goes on with this team. Because I do. I do see some things in this team that I don't like. But for the most part, I think with the cards that Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith are dealt with, I think they're doing a decent job. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is episode 540 of the First and Frame Rate Show. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. We're going to talk about what this front office is doing and the conversation of that we don't know what they're doing because they don't talk. They don't say much about what's going on. They said very little about one particular player that I can remember, and that's Desmond Ridder. And that's been recently about how they think he has a bright future and about what he is capable of doing in his career. Now, I know it's already probably about 2 minutes into this episode, and people are probably mad already. That's fine. I really don't care because if you're going to be honest, you're going to sit back and listen and or give me some constructive feedback about us not knowing what's going on. Because I watch the stuff on the social medias. Some people on social media absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. They think one person that is athletically gifted is going to turn this entire franchise around. Some people think there's a running back that needs to be drafted in the first round, and that will help tremendously. Some people think this number 8 overall pick is the end all be all to what this franchise is going to be or what it's not going to be. Some people think that don't worry about the first round picks. Let's just get Lamar Jackson and everything's going to be fine. Contract be damned. None of us know if that's true. None of us know. Let's be honest. None of us know if that's true. None of us know what's going to happen. All we're doing is speculating. The only thing that we really can do, and this is what I do over here on this show, I give my opinion on the small things that we do know that's going on with the Falcons. I know these guys are trying to clear salary cap space. I think that's a good thing. They're trying to be very smart in who they try to sign in or draft. That's a good thing. I do give out some opinions on things that may happen. Let's say we talked about Lamar Jackson a while back. I remember talking about Drake London before he was drafted. I remember talking about other players that could be a good fit. I remember one time I talked about Kareem Hunt being a good fit for this team. And lo and behold, we got a running back that runs the football just like Kareem Hunt. Isn't that funny? But nevertheless, I'm not here to say that I'm right. I'm not here to beat my chest. It just sounds logical because I just go along with what this organization is doing. They just got out of a situation where somebody was getting paid a lot of money to play quarterback. There was no way, in my opinion, I felt like there was no way they were going to go back to that. And look what happened. They did not go back to that. And I know there's some people who are pretty much upset about that, and that's fine. It's okay to be upset, but we got to be really honest. What are you upset about? Are you upset because it didn't happen? Or are you upset because you know they wasn't going to do it and you're just living in the past? Because we all knew the writing was on the wall. For the most part, they were not going to go after somebody that's worth a lot of money. It doesn't matter if it's a quarterback or not. They already was in position to try to get under the cap number and try to maintain to be very cap friendly. That was always the case from the beginning. We knew they didn't want Matt Ryan from the day one. I did a live episode about that when they said, quite frankly, they didn't want Matt Ryan when they first got here. They wanted to get rid of him then. But the timing wasn't right. And it's not because Matt Ryan's a bad quarterback. It's just that the money. These guys were trying to get under the salary cap from day one. That's why the Julio Jones trade pretty much kind of happened the way it did. This is why Matt Ryan happened the way it did. Grady Jarrett was re-signed and restructured. Jake Matthews the same way. All these people who was on big contracts that they could control, they try to get from under them or try to get them more friendly for the franchise. That's just what they do. That's what they wanted to do. So, quite frankly, that's the only thing we know that's what the Falcons are doing right now. And we need to be honest with ourselves that we don't know. And for all intents and purposes, if we're going to have a conversation, let it be logical. We don't even know if Drake London's their guy. You know, I said it. I'm on record. I want him to be QB1. I want him to develop from the ground up. I think that's one of the best ways you have a franchise quarterback, not just finding somebody from another team and re-sign and signing them to a big deal, hoping that'll be, worth it. It doesn't work out like that all the time. I mean, it just doesn't. And the thing about it is we know that. A majority of us know it. A lot of people just want to be entertained. A lot of people think that the entertainment will help people, help the franchise win games because the fans are entertained. What wins championships is being smart with your money, finding good talent at the best price for both parties, and creating a culture that people want to be around and win. Lamar Jackson coming to the franchise, and this is where I'm really going to get into, and I know people are not going to like this. Bringing Lamar Jackson to the franchise does not bring other people to the franchise. Let me know what wide receiver wanted to come to the Ravens to play. Let me know what top wide receiver wanted to come to the Ravens to play. And it's not even a knock on Lamar Jackson. I mean, I'm just stating the fact. Hollywood Brown left the Ravens. So we really have to be honest. Yes, we have a receiver now. We have two good receivers now with Pitts in London. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be okay. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to be okay if Lamar Jackson was to throw the football to him. Maybe it could. Maybe it's not. But the time he's been in the NFL, something there is not correlating. And I think that's something that we need to be honest about. At least with Ritter and Drake London, there was some type of connection that you start to see in the last 4 games. Noah's numbers haven't been the best, but those are his first 4 games he ever played. Go back and look at the first 4 games that any of these quarterbacks played. And I mean, I think we're outside of Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, and maybe Joe Flacco. Those guys actually lit it up when they first came into the league. And that's an anomaly. How many other quarterbacks come into the league and play right away and light it up? How many quarterbacks come into the league and play right away in general? A lot of them do. How many of them actually make something happen right away? I think Daniel Jones had a good preseason game. What's his name? Dak Prescott had a good preseason game. Look, Desmond Ridder had a good preseason game. He had a come from behind victory against the Lions. So it's like, sorry about that. It's like you have to get to a point where we have to be honest. We don't know what we don't know, and that's okay. Let these guys work. No 7-10 is not viable this upcoming season. I agree. But with the money that they have now, the talent that's out there, you can't tell me they can't bring people in and win 3 more games than they did last year. There's no way. And it's not because somebody that's under center or in the shotgun. It starts within the trenches. It starts on that offensive and defensive line, and it works its way out. Everybody knows this. Everybody who watched football to some degree, who is slightly above a casual fan, knows this. So let's get that taken care of. We're going to get another quarterback. It's only one on the roster right now. I'm not saying that Desmond Ridder is the answer. No, I have no idea, but I want him to get a shot to develop. Is that too much to ask? I think that's a very difficult, thing for people to wrap their head around. Let the guy develop. Justin Herbert got a chance to develop. Patrick Mahomes got time to develop. Jalen Hurts had time to develop. Joe Burrow had time to develop. Even though Joe Burrow, he actually, he caught on faster than a lot of people. You can probably put him in the category where Ryan and Newton and Flacco, like when they first started, bam, off the ground running. But a lot of quarterbacks don't get that option. A lot of quarterbacks don't even perform that well to do that. That's just how it is. You can really say what you want. And another person, Russell Wilson was another one. He really didn't catch fire till later on in his first season. Later on, beyond 4 games. And we can keep going on down this list, and we can talk about other quarterbacks who just had time to do some things. But nevertheless, I think I said enough. We really need to have an honest conversation. I don't like going live and doing all this stuff. I don't mind doing it, but I don't like going live. I hear the conversations on other shows, and some people who, my God, they just don't have all of the information on how teams are built to say certain things. I mean, some people want, I'm going to leave with this. And I don't know if anybody's still here after this. They probably done turned off the episode, and that's fine. But some people sit here and say that we can get Lamar Jackson or we can get a top elite quarterback and don't worry about the first round picks, and they will, we get all the other players through the draft or whatever. In the same breath, they say that Terry Fontenot hasn't done a good job with drafting people beyond the second and third round. And in some cases, the first round. They haven't done a good job of drafting, but we'll get good players this year with the draft after losing 2 first-round picks. So in the next 2 years, we wouldn't have had a first-round pick, but you want to trust these same people to do something. I don't get it. Will the GM and the coach stay around after next year if they having a lose season? Probably not. But the formula that they're doing is actually a pretty logical and damn good formula, especially after you've been 60. You are way over the cap, and then with Matt Ryan, you had to take an extremely high cap hit to get him to the Colts. So I think they're doing a pretty good job money-wise. I want to see if it resonates to what we can do on the field. And based on what I've seen so far, these last 2 seasons, we had no business going 7-10. And that's another thing people know. No business being mediocre. We're supposed to be at the bottom of the barrel, but getting the first and second overall picks for the next 2 years. And this coach was able to make things happen for these guys to win 7 games both seasons with a piece of a team. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If I lost you at this point, I apologize. I'm sorry, but it had to be said. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. I don't have much else to say. I want you guys to enjoy your Friday, because Friday's coming up. I'll have another episode for Friday evening. So hopefully you guys will check that out. Maybe it'll be more of a laid back episode, but this episode needed to be done because it's pretty bad right now. When we know what this organization is trying to do, and we still go against our own, we go against the information that we know to end up having, emotional and I hate to use emotional, but emotional feedback to what logically is known. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.